Mature content disclaimer. This podcast contains mature themes, strong language, and discussions that may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome back to Loose Framing Podcast. I'm your very haunted host, Tyler Martinovich, here for our Halloween episode. And joining us as always, to my left,
Sam Allen, your vampire friend.
I like your teeth. I'm Birdie. I'm a pirate today.
And I don't know what I am. We watched The Others last night, and I felt very inspired, so here I am.
I think it's closest, though, to Winona and Beetlejuice.
It's
really reminiscent
I do live
of
a very dark
existence.
Angst,
existence.
Really.
Yeah.
We love to see it.
So this is truly our Halloween episode. We've got a little dressing going on here.
We wore some orange.
It's not
black.
Well, I didn't wear anything. This is why I'm wearing this get up now.
Black,
well, yeah, I guess I am. Yeah. We don't always get to have a themed episode just because of our production schedule. We're usually trying to shoot things well in advance, and how does it pair up with our schedule? But in this case, we were able to throw something together with a guest coming up. Who are we interviewing today?
A very special friend of ours, very special friend of ours, Joe Davison. I get a little stutter from these things. I guess I have to take them out. Sorry.
Are those?
Yeah.
Well, I knew they were things, but how do they work? Hold on. Oh, okay.
Oh, they're individual.
They're individual. All right.
I thought they'd be on like a.
For people listening at home, we've totally lost the thread here.
Yeah, no, sorry. I mispronounced Joe's name because I have a lisp that I didn't expect to have, and I'm just like, whoa, okay. Sorry.
I thought you were putting in fake teeth, but these are like,
no, they're individual.
Acrylics.
I dig them. Do they look good?
They do look good.
Yeah,
they match like the white of your teeth really well, so it doesn't look like
you couldn't tell the difference.
Real. Yeah,
I love it.
Excellent.
Anyway, I'll start over in case you want to cut that out. Anyway, so. Today, we have a very special friend on, Joe Davison, and he was just at Tampa Theater premiering his movie, Sorority of the Damned.
And Joe is not a first-time podcast guest. He has been here before.
In season 3, 2023, and that one, I think, was also a Halloween episode.
Yeah, I think we were just talking about horror movies in general.
It was. It's titled Joe Davison Knows Horror, Mwahaha. So you can look it up.
Joe is a character. He is candy-covered crack, I think is the only way to describe him.
Way to say that.
He is just a spitfire, and it's a great conversation. I think people are going to enjoy it. We had some great sound bites last time. I know we're going to have some great ones this time.
Oh, absolutely.
But we just saw Sorority of the Damned.
Yes.
And why we're doing this tie-in is it's now out streaming. You can buy it right now if you want to watch it. So it's going to be a great time. We're going to talk about horror. But with that, we have a rather long interview, so we'll get right to it.
Get right to it.
We'll be right back. Welcome back to Loose Frame Podcast. Joining me now is my friend, the most superfluous writer I know.
Stop it.
Joe Davison. Welcome back to the podcast, buddy.
Hi. I was so happy when you were like, hey, you want to come get made fun of? And I was like, yes.
Yes, let's do that.
Yeah, let's just make fun of me the whole time.
For those who don't remember, I think I used the wrong word originally.
No, it was great.
Yeah, well, last time we were on, but...
Yeah, it's my favorite sound clip, and I love you so much.
Well, I appreciate that. It is our Halloween episode.
I do love you so much. You don't have a beep button because I dropped the
well,
F-bomb.
we figured you were gonna swear. We've been on this rodeo before. It'll be fine.
An idiot, really.
Well, it is our Halloween podcast, and we are here not only to talk about horror movies, but also your latest project, which just dropped, and we just had a premiere for it at the Tampa Theater.
Thank you so much for
welcome,
that.
my friend.
Thank you.
Yeah,
that was
seriously.
a high five.
I'm not good at this. We're talking about Sorority of the Damned.
Yes. Yeah, it's thank you. And what a great time at the Tampa Theater. I was very excited. I don't think I've ever actually stood on that stage. Maybe like being there and hanging out.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've ever actually been like there talking on a mic on that stage.
It's a cool experience to be at the Tampa Theater, and it was a real joy for me to show a movie of yours. And what is this, your 12th or 15th movie?
Something
at this
like
point?
that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, a bunch.
Yeah.
But one that I know you pitched to me years ago during COVID. And this was the little engine that could. And so many things came together to make this really incredible film.
Yeah.
I'm super proud of it. I know you are as well. So let's peel it back a little bit for the audience. Give me the pitch in Sorority of the Damned.
Okay. So basically, the idea was an inept, not even an inept, a guy who was graduating with a PhD in oceanography and cetaceous biology who wanted to study whales is tasked by his grandfather to become like the overseer of this sorority house. But he doesn't know why, and he doesn't understand why his family does this, and he wants to be like a professional scientist. But reluctantly, because his grandfather dies, he takes it up for a year, and he's like, all right, I'll go do it. And then turns out there's a secret room, there's an ancient book, then there's, demons and witches, possess the sorority girls, and then he realizes he's a demon hunter, but he's already kind of gone to waste and become a pothead because he didn't follow his dream. But then he picks up the mantle and he's like, yeah, let's go fight some demons. And he kind of enjoys it. He realizes this is he enjoys it.
So it's a very comedic horror film, if I can say that. I think that's kind of true of most of your films.
Yeah,
you are a very
I only want to do
person.
Horror comedy. Yeah, I may have mentioned this in other interviews or whatever, but my moment in life when I realized what I wanted how I wanted to approach everything is, I was at a bar here in Tampa called The Hub. Mm-hmm. Not where it is now. It was in another spot 20 years ago. And Gail Ann Hurd was here shooting a movie with Jonathan Hensley called The Punisher. You probably didn't see it because it's horrible. But I happened to be at the Hub, and Gail Ann Hurd and Jonathan Hensley were there. And I recognized her. I didn't really recognize him. But then everyone was like, he's directed The Punisher. And I was like, gross. And but I'm sitting at the bar, and I said, hey, it's nice to meet you. I'm a local filmmaker, actor, writer. And he's like, you got to pick one. And I said, what? He said, you got to pick one. You're going to be either a director or a writer or an actor. You can't do all three. And I looked at it, and I was like, I already do that. That's what I do. I've already done 3 movies like that. I already do that. No, you can't. And then he just turned around and walked away. And I was like, thanks for no advice. Okay. And then I watched The Punisher, and I was like, I most certainly can do whatever I want because this guy can't do anything. So that changed my whole outlook on how to approach being a filmmaker, and I stuck to those guns because I'll never forget that conversation.
Yeah,
either it was boastful ego from him or a deterrent. Maybe wise deterrent. I didn't know back then how much he probably already knew. And he's like, this is the worst job in the world. Don't ever do it. Meanwhile, I'm like, I'm going to do everything. 20 years later, this sucks. But I stuck to my guns because of that conversation with him.
Yeah.
And that's why, I do everything.
Well, and to reintroduce you for people who didn't see you when we were on the first podcast, you are a writer, director, actor, comedian, improvist, author. You've done an incredible amount of things in your life.
Yeah. You have to, in this industry, you have to. I mean, you know that. You got to not only write the script, but you might have to break it down. You might have to budget it. You might have to have late night meetings under streetlights to deliver,
script
shooting schedules. Yeah. You might have to do all that, and you have to. Guys who I've witnessed LA directors on set, sitting in the chair, not even getting up. They don't get up to help. They're just like, all right. And I'm like, dude, just get up. Go right over there and move the chair. You can do it. And
they probably did it once.
I don't know, some of these guys.
And I think people lose perspective over time.
No, I don't think they're that old and that long in the tooth. You know what I mean? Maybe, but I doubt it. I think they've always been lazy.
So you are someone who just powers through any situation to bring your creations to life.
That's why I have 4 children.
You're a glutton for punishment in every way possible.
I just power through it.
But it seems like every time you've tried to make a movie, the universe conspires against you to try to stop you, and you defeat it every time and pull it across the finishing line. And it happens consistently because I've known you for a long time. But Sorority of Damned was one of the first times like, oh wow, like you have a large budget finally. You know, you have an opportunity to make something cool. And then what happens? A pandemic.
Right. Well, you know, I brought that on. That pandemic.
Were you in China at the time?
No, I didn't have to be. Here's what happened. I was crying in my shower. No, because right before the pandemic, if you remember, I had a movie we had gotten money for called Hank.
Yeah. That
subsequently got taken from me and turned into another movie called The Bell Keeper. But after that happened, and I was like, I need to watch everyone burn. You know, I was so mad at the producer. And then like a week later, it was like, a pandemic's broken out. And I looked at my wife and I said, I caused this. I destroyed the world. I was like, I am Galactus. And so, yeah. So there's that. That started all of it. But that also started this also separate timeline where now we were meeting real investors and we were going to make this movie called Sorority of Damned. But then, you know, we got it. We moved forward, man. And then it was like, even then it wasn't over because there was still tragedy after tragedy with that, you know, but now it's out and it's streaming. And let's talk about the movie and how awesome it is.
Yeah, it is awesome.
Because I can reminisce all day.
It is your highest budgeted film thus far that's been released. I know you're working on a couple right now.
Correct.
But the production value is insane in this. And it's because I think, just coincidentally, the pandemic was happening. You had a lot of people, like there's very few places that were having any work happening at the time at all.
Nobody.
And a lot of really great people were sitting on the sidelines waiting for a project. And here you come to LA and say, hey guys, I got a project right now. So talk about
who's not working? You and you.
Let's go through the town on this. I mean, it opens with you in this hospice with your grandfather, who happens to be one of the leads from Oingo Boingo.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many great people in this.
Who still calls me grandson in messages on Facebook. We talk not a lot, but every couple months we'll hit each other up, and I say, "Hey, Grandpa, how's it going?" And he's like, "Great. What are you doing?" Da, da, da. You know, he's just the most spectacular, most humble dude because. I don't know if you know this. The Elfmans are huge.
Yeah,
they're big. They're big. There's three of them: Danny, Jenna, and Richard, and even Richard's wife. You know, they're amazing people. They're what I would call those. They are the artists in Hollywood. They're the ones who formed this occult kind of thing. Because I think without the Elfmans, you wouldn't have any music for Tim Burton stuff.
I was literally just gonna say, like Tim Burton has his own power and influence, but Elfman's music is so intrinsically intertwined with that. That's kind of his identity, is part of that music.
Right. It is all of Burton's identity is the Elfman music. You know, from Batman on, and Richard is a big part of that too because of Oingo Boingo. And a lot of people are like, Oingo Boingo. And it's just like, shut your mouth. And, you know, I was just listening to the Talking Heads on the way here. I recently started listening to them a lot. I'm really getting into it. I know it's an older stuff, and I mostly listen to Wu-Tang.
It's for the children.
Yeah, protect your neck. But I started listening to Talking Heads. My wife got in the car, and some Rick Ocasek song was playing. I can't remember what Talking Head song. And she's like, "What is this?" I said, "It's a Talking Heads." She's like, "What?" I was like, "Shh, just listen and you'll understand." And then it got me on this kick where I want to make a horror movie set to Talking Head movies or lyrics.
Yeah.
Like the whole movie is literally like, you could watch it step by step and be like, "Oh, that's Psycho Killer. That's She Wants It," or whatever.
Yeah.
You know?
So I don't know how we got off of music. Oh, the Elephants.
Sorry.
But let's talk about some of the other amazing talent that's in this movie.
Sorry.
So who else is in this film?
Wow. Me?
We'll stop right there. It's just Joe. It's a one-man play. Really exciting one.
I got a trombone and a cymbals, and I'm like...
He also does his own music.
Yeah, I do. I wrote a song for Sorority.
I didn't know that, actually.
Yeah,
All right, I was
she's
kidding.
a witch.
Okay.
There's like a surfy kind of song. They come. Yeah, I wrote that, and then I put it in Suno. Right. I don't know if you're familiar with this app. And I was like, I want an upbeat, surfy, 60s kind of thing with these lyrics. And I wrote all the lyrics. And then I sent that to my composer, Jared Foreman, who, by the way, does like a ton of things. And he just sent me one text message back. And he's like, no. And I was like, why not? And he's like, it's Suno. We can't use it. And I was like, well, let's recreate it and hire a singer. And he's like, oh, I know just the person. So within like 5 days, he sent it back to me. He had remastered. He did all the music, and then we hired an up-and-coming singer out of LA who matched the voice, and she changed it actually, and it's way better. Her version's way better, and so we made that song originally for the movie. I got one coming out for a movie we just did called Demon Queen Pinball Machine. That's an epic 70s rock ballad that I can't even explain to you how awesome it is.
I'm very excited for Pinball.
Do you like Cinderella? Because it sounds a lot like that.
Cannot wait.
Yeah.
We're
hair band.
We'll have you back, and we'll break out the wigs for this.
Man. Yeah, as soon as I get it re-edited.
That's for another story. But it wasn't just people in front of the camera.
Right.
I
didn't even talk about them.
Let's talk about the actresses.
Man.
Yeah.
Felissa Rose. From Sleepaway Camp all the way to Terrifier 2, right? And she and I became very close friends. I just saw her in New York. We were at New York horror, some festival up in New York, and actually put on by a local guy, Rick Danford, who got me up there and had a screening for Sorority. And then Felissa and I had a panel and stuff. It was a lot of fun. And she's fantastic. She's in it. But then there's like people who are up and coming. Sydney Carvel, who played Jenny, I think is breakout in the movie. And then, we got Kalina Cordova, who played Amber, who was great. Jamie Brightbill, Chelsea Jordan. All these actresses I thought were on their A game in this in Sorority.
And it definitely is an ensemble cast.
Yeah.
And I think they interact with each other great. They feel appropriate for the characters, and they're really funny.
Yeah, and my best friend, Jeremy Lester, who plays the statue, who doesn't act, doesn't barely talk to anybody, has no social presence on any media, he doesn't care about any of that shit. I force him to do shit like getting a statue costume for 6 weeks.
Which, it's a killer costume. Let's talk a little bit about the effects.
Let's talk about Ken Hall, who made that costume. Ken Hall is a professional effects artist. I mean, he did all the stuff for Willy's Wonderland with Nicolas Cage, if you saw that awesome movie. But he made our statue costume. But Ken is also, like, he wrote Puppet Master. He's the creator of Puppet Master franchise. What? And I still talk to these guys. These are guys I talk to all the time. And I'm like, I grew up watching Puppet Master, and now I have full-on conversations with Ken and his wife. And I'm like, how did any of this happen? And then we got Roy Kinnearum, Soda Effects, who's done everything from starting with Slugs to The Abyss to Darkman to Willy's Wonderland to you name it. I think Soda Effects has done something on the Tremors. In Tremors they did, which I just showed my kids the other day.
A perfect movie, by the way.
Oh, I sat my 10-year-old daughter down. She loves horror, obviously. Not obviously, you don't know. Yeah. And then my 14-year-old, Mia and Alexa, I sat them down and I said, it's like 5:30. I just made beanie weenies for dinner or whatever. And I was like, let's watch a movie, guys. And they were like, okay. And I just turned on Amazon and it was Tremors right there at the top. I said, we're going to watch Tremors. And then my daughter goes, 1990? I don't watch anything from the old times. And I said, old times?
Kids have a way of really making you feel terrible about yourself.
And I was just like, that's 1990. I was in high school. And anyway, so then I was like, and now I'm old. But they sat and they watched it and they loved it. And what I realized about Tremors is that it's timeless. They don't use cell phones. Yep. There's no communication because the town goes dark. So you don't even have the worry of computers or anything. They don't use any form of communication. There's a payphone. All right, that's cool. but it's just a classic horror comedy. It's not even a horror film, really. It's like a creature feature.
It's a buddy comedy.
It is a buddy comedy, and I would have loved to have seen more of Fred Ward and Kevin Bacon, even in another movie.
Yeah.
You know, get abducted by aliens and now they're fighting.
I think
aliens.
it's one of the best character intros in any movie ever created. You know everything about Fred Ward's character and everything about Kevin Bacon's character
In the
without them
first 2
saying
minutes.
anything.
Yeah, they wake up in the back of a truck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's perfect. It just sets
Yeah.
up the entire
And then the
mood of the
girl-
film.
Who's the lead female? I think her name's Carter, something Carter.
We'll have my staff look that up.
Where is she at? At first, I thought it was Bridget Fonda, connecting back
Yeah.
to Elfman, but it's not her. It's another girl, something Carter, and I'm just like, where did this girl go? Because she's amazing in this. Like, you know, and it's also got Egg Chen in it.
Yeah.
You know, if you're a Big Trouble in Little China fan, it's got Egg Chen. So there's another reason. And he goes out too fast.
He does.
They should have
Spectacularly, though.
They should have killed the other dude and left Egg Chen around.
Yeah, a little longer.
Yeah. They had 9 people to kill off. Why'd you kill Egg Chen? I don't think they knew, man.
What a great movie.
Yeah. Sorry.
You've made a bunch of horror movies, and there is a commonality through all of them, and I think it's your humor that shines through. But what really attracts you to a horror movie? Like, why do you make this genre? Like, you could do anything.
Yeah, well, that's true. But I'll tell you, man, it was my first introduction to like Fangoria when I was like in 5th grade, because it was at it was at the 7-Eleven that was right next to my bus stop, and I would go in every morning because I could look out and see the bus come, and I would go in and pick up Fangoria and just read an article about somebody, Tom Savini or somebody. But it was the cover of Rawhead Rex. He was on the cover, and I hadn't seen the movie, and I didn't see the movie for years after that because I was 10.
Yeah,
you know. But then I finally saw Rawhead Rex, and I was like, okay, it's still cool. But I was like, there's a lot of lightning for this movie, and so. But that got me into it because I was looking at all these images of these horror films, and in the back you could order masks and that kind of stuff. So I didn't really get into the effects of it. I got into the storytelling of it, I guess, because I was always a writer. I've always been a writer. But horror comedy, the horror came early. Evil Dead, when I rented that movie in like 8th grade, that is what set me on my course, I think.
Yeah. And was it the first one or the second one?
First one.
Okay. Which is the more horrific of the two.
Right. But it was the style. I was like, oh wait, you can have fun with this genre. You don't have to be all serious and scary like Halloween or Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You can have fun. And I was like, I want to have fun. And I wrote my very first script in like 1990, I'll say 5. It's probably like 94.
Was that 100 Tears?
No. There's a movie called Bloodbath, a werewolf buddy film. Not buddy werewolves. They're not like solving crimes. But a dude goes into town. It opens up at a wedding, and this couple's getting married, and then they get attacked by werewolves. And the groom is the only one who survives. And now we're 5 years later, and he's like a werewolf hunter. And these werewolves ascend on this small Alaskan town or whatever. And this dude's been following. He shows up, and him and the deputy sheriff end up teaming up and becoming the heroes. And they kill all the werewolves. And it's a really fun, upbeat horror comedy about werewolves killing people in an old town. So that was my first script. It was called Bloodbath.
Did you actually ever make that?
No.
Or it's just sitting on a shelf somewhere?
I have just come upon my 40th screenplay. And I didn't start making my movies until like my 25th screenplay. So, which would have been 100 Tears in 2007.
Which, talking about swinging for the fences, that is on like the top 100 most well-known, best-loved cult films of all time.
It's also in the top 5 killer clown movies.
Yeah. Well, and I think, to be perfectly honest, Terrifier ripped it off entirely.
Oh, dude, I was just thinking about this on the way here. Because I love, like I said, I'm a huge rap fan. I'm not like an aficionado. I couldn't tell you everything, but I listened to everyone from like Wu-Tang, even before that, like Immortal Technique, to like, Kasky or Schoolboy Q or, like ASAP Rock and Rocky, all the ASAPs. And one thing I love about rap is that they're not afraid to call people out.
Yeah.
Every other industry is afraid to step up and say, yo, bro, you literally just took this and you're acting like you don't know who made it.
Yeah.
And I've had confrontations.
And it's not even an homage, it's a straight ape.
I met these guys at a convention and they acted like they didn't know who I was. And I made sure they saw the 100 Tier stuff on my table. And they were just like, who? And I was like, I'm going to crush you one day. You don't know it yet. But I'm going to come back and I'm going to crush you. And then I'm going to call all you out. I'm going to call every one of you out. Because you all are thieves. You take... this is like my third movie that's been literally like just ganked from us.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm doing something right. I just haven't gotten to the point to where I'm internationally known to rock the microphone. You know what I mean? So like I really want to, I don't know, is it worth being that person who's like, look, stop being thieves. You're taking everything. Even Hollywood is remaking everything. And who's watching it? Did anyone watch the new Nightmare on Elm Street? Did anyone watch the new Fright Night?
No one will even watch the new Tron movie, which is another travesty.
Yeah.
But
well, at least then they're just expanding on the franchise.
we're just rehashing it every single time.
I love the last Tron.
A legacy, yeah.
Yeah, Legacy with Daft Punk. Some of the music in that is phenomenal. But then I'm just thinking, well, maybe I just love Daft Punk, and it's a great movie to watch Daft Punk to.
Yeah.
It's just a giant Daft Punk music video.
You're right. It is a music video at one point.
Yeah.
That's sort of
Which
what
is
it
great. I loved it.
Yeah.
I mean, toke it out, watch some Tron. It
That should have been their tagline.
Yeah. You're welcome. I get a nickel every time you say it now. Tron. Jared Leto.
Tron in time.
Yeah. So, anyway, I don't know where I was bitching, but let's go back to Sorority. It's out right now. It's streaming. It is the reviews are coming in. It got a solid 10 on IMDb and it got a solid 5. So far it's got 2 1s. No reason why they gave it a 1.
Oh, see, that's always my favorite is when someone goes off unhinged on a 1-star review. It's usually quite charming.
Yeah, well, I just look at one. I don't even really judge anything until it's like over a 5, because then you're like, wow, they gave some thought to this. Anything below a 5 are either haters, people who you've had beef with for sure, and I got a few of those people. Don't worry, I'm coming for you. And I don't give a shit. You can say whatever you want. I had a friend of mine call me, and he's like, yo, I watched it. You want my review? I was like, okay, yeah. Tell me your thoughts. And then he was like pretty much all praise. But I was thinking like, what is this dude about to tell me about my movie he just watched?
Yeah.
And how deep is he going to go? And actually, I was very happy because he praised everything. I don't think he had one. The only comment he hated was the fact that Richard Elfman's character is not tied up to any monitors, and you hear a heart monitor.
Yeah,
but who cares?
I thought that was part of the gag.
Yeah,
it was such a funny opening.
Yeah, it's okay. I don't care about that kind of stuff. Like, yeah, we should have really focused on the set right there. But it's a conscious decision at some point where you're like, we don't need it, or it's, you got to rent that stuff or whatever you have to do to, anyways. So that was like my buddy telling me. But some of the reviews have been great, and I'm really happy. We got people are putting it into a cult status. One dude, I couldn't get a smile off my face for a while because he said I'm stepping right into the Ash Williams role, which is great. That's great to hear that kind of stuff. Now I'll start to get hammered by other people where they're going to be like, this movie's stupid, and you could see the effects. Or, Joe, like one guy was like, a fat janitor. Why I gotta be fat, man? Why you gotta say it? We can see it. I don't need you to address it. No one's calling you an idiot. You know what I mean? Like, why you got to say it?
Hey, look, this is not The Conjuring. If you're going to watch this movie, and I suggest you do, don't go in with the wrong expectations. This is a truly funny
It's an homage to 80s and my movies I love. I don't care about, I mean, dude, we got more coming. We just finished a movie called Demon Queen Pinball Machine. I just got back a week ago, the day of the premiere for Sorority. We got back from New Mexico shooting a new horror comedy called Give Me a D out there for 20 days. The same. It's all homages to shit we love. I'm not making these because I think some demographic's gonna buy my shit. I'm making this stuff because this is what I want to watch, and it's not being made.
Yeah.
You know, they just announced they're doing a new. What are they doing? I don't know. I can't even. I was like another remake of a movie that's already been remade twice.
I mean, I just saw they were remaking Amadeus, and why? What?
Why? What? With who? Timothy Chalamet. Not that I don't appreciate his acting. Great, but I don't live in that universe. Yeah. I live in the. People are going to say like the D flick universe. I'm not even quite there yet, so slow down, okay? I'm still in the G, F area probably.
But if people put the time in and watch your movies, and again, I suggest people do, what you're going to walk away with is, one, it's really funny. You have a great sense of comedic timing, but there's also just joy on the screen. You can tell everyone in the film is having a blast making it.
Yeah.
And I think that goes back to why you're making the movie. You're trying to make something that you want to see, that you enjoy making. And I think you bring in collaborators who have an equal joy for what they're doing.
Yeah. Well, you're not going to have fun if people on your set are miserable.
Yeah.
That's something I learned a long, long time ago. And, you have to have some sort of camaraderie. Sometimes not all relationships are working on set. It's evident, not everyone is going to. If you don't have a scene partner, like you and I got 6 scenes together, but I only got one with Bob over here, chances are you and I are going to connect a lot more than me and him.
Bob, yeah.
But who knows? Bob might steal the show. That happened with this dude. We were doing Demon Queen. This guy, I talk about him all the time, Jay Branovich, out of Orlando, I think is a stellar comedic actor. That dude should blow up. Hopefully, if he can land the right roles and get some really stellar performances out of Orlando, this dude could be huge, and he was only a minute in Demon Queen, and when we were done with he was only out for 2 days. At the end of his second day, I went back into the script and rewrote him into the end of the movie because I was like, this guy's too good not to have him there.
Yeah. So
basically, he just shows up at the end of the movie, and I literally, the 2 leads, myself and Francesco. In this, you'll see it right in the scene. We turn around and go, "How'd you get here?" And it's never answered. It's only because I wrote him in the end of the movie. Like he just shows up.
A little writer's prerogative there. Looking back at Sorority, and I'm talking about the production now.
Right.
Was there a favorite scene that you look back on? And I was like, wow, I love that scene. I loved making it. I loved everything about it.
My favorite scene to shoot was probably the cemetery stuff. However, we were battling the worst winds in Santa Clara history.
Which we need to hear because it's an amazing story as you're sitting there watching your sets just sail away in the distance.
Well, everything's made of styrofoam. And we had this huge 100-foot circle styrofoam wall made with pillars. And we got these giant blocks of styrofoam. And we didn't expect the wind. First of all, that set was somewhere else entirely. We were actually on the set of Friday the 13th part 7, I think, where there was a cabin that got burnt down. We were on the actual location of that cabin that actually burnt down. That's where we had built. When I come in the movie, you see the girls go down some stairs, and then I come up like a hill. That was our first night. We left. They had a rave. The police showed up and kicked us out of our own set, and we had to take our set down and go rebuild it somewhere else. So we found a new spot in Santa Clarita Mountains in like a valley, which kind of matched, and you couldn't really tell it was somewhere else. And but because we were way up in the mountains now,
they have the Santa Ana winds to contend with.
We had no idea. Yeah. No idea. In the middle of a scene, wind hit us so hard Like 2 of the actresses in the stunt uniforms, the witches, they went down because sand got them right in the face, man. We had no idea. We, cut. Everybody goes to the shelter. The actors go into their trailers. Production goes into the production thing. Except for a few of us, I was still on set kind of watching everything, blocking our eyes. And it was bad. And all of a sudden, the entire circle thing, because it's all one piece, just like went into the air, like
levitates and flies
like
away.
20 feet. We were like, and then it just went bam, dropped, and we're like, oh my God. So we had a wonderful foam carver there. And he put everything back and redid it all right there. And that happened like 2 or 3 times. And then we had a pillar, these big pillars. One just shot off at like 100 miles an hour. It was like, boom! We were like, ah! So someone had to run into the woods to grab that and drag it back. And yeah, it delayed us long enough to where we lost a day of shooting the fight scenes. We had to cut the fight scenes down because we lost a whole day of it. And we couldn't stay any longer because we had to move to the next set. So that's the only thing that upset me was you can't tell in the movie that the fight scene's cut by like 6 pages because like there was a lot more fighting.
Yeah.
The fire witch was supposed to die like last. The earth witch was like one of the first ones to go. And we had to change the whole fight. On the fly. I had to like rewrite the fight scene while we were fighting. And we moved it because originally there was supposed to be a lot in that little circle, and then we moved it out of that because that thing wasn't stable anymore, and we went over to a new area where we had just put up a bunch of tombstones and stuff, and that's where the fight took place.
Yeah,
but you don't know that. People don't know that's
no,
the problem.
But it's wild when you hear these things happening on set. And if you're on a $100 million Scorsese film, he's going to build a giant wall to block the wind or whatever. You just have to deal with it.
Yeah, they'll shoot in a studio, which we wanted to do. We wanted to do all the exterior cemetery fight stuff in a studio, but they were all shut down. We couldn't get into them, and not for cheap. It was cheaper to go fight the wind than it was to try to get into a studio for 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, but that's my favorite stuff. Those nights are some of my favorite nights. This is the night we saw the UFO. The UFOs, that's those. I think we were there 5 days. We lost a day, so we were there 4 days.
Hold on, you buried a lead here. You just kind of threw out that there was UFOs flying by.
I never told you this?
No, this is a new one to me. So
oh my God, dude.
I need the story right now.
Okay. So we're out in the Santa Clarita Mountains. We have to park probably about a half a mile at this lot, and then they bring a van from set to pick us up because you got to like go through the terrain. Well, Jeremy and I, he plays a statue and co-wrote the movie. We get to set early because we kind of want to look at this dry riverbed.
Yep.
So we come in maybe about an hour early. I mean, we only slept a few hours anyway, so we're like, I want to go back early. Driving through the mountains is fun, and we park and we get out and we start walking this dry riverbed. Well, I didn't know this until I was on a UFO podcast that there was a connection to this. So we start walking, and the riverbed's, as wide as this room. But it's been dry for years. Who knows how long. But there's these trees growing up in the middle, and as we walk, I don't know, 50, 60 feet, a big white owl comes out of the tree and flies to the next tree. And I was like, whoa, Jared, look at that owl. He's like, I know, man, that's awesome. We keep walking. The owl goes from that tree to the next tree ahead of us. And it does this the entire way where we're walking. We finally get to where we can see up on the hill, because you got to kind of go up like a little hill, where the set is. And we're still in this riverbed, and the owl takes off, leaves. And we're like, wow, that was really cool. Get up on set, night comes in, we're doing the thing. It's right when I'm giving my speech, actually. And I'm like, my name's Trevor Harmony, and I'm there. Well, on the other side of the camera, Cheyenne Buchanan, who was our stunt coordinator, just screams my name. And
Middle take.
And I was like, what? What's going on? Because the lights were in, I couldn't really see. And he just goes, look up. so we all kind of look up, and there was 70 unexplained lights just flying in a row. I have pictures of it. And Mike Sue, our director of photography, looks up, and he immediately attaches the camera, flips it around, and starts to record it, but it stopped working. The camera stopped working. So everyone's phones are in trailers and shit way on the other side. People are running. Kara Lee Club, who's like my right hand, she immediately goes onto her laptop because she's got a hotspot set up. Yeah. And because our AD goes, oh, that's just the Starlink. And this is 2020. And Kara Lee, I could hear her from like on the other side. She's like, that's not Starlink. That's over Australia. And I look at her and we look up and I'm in full costume. Jeremy's got his head off because he's the statue and we're standing there. And I look at him and he's like, and I go, what are you doing? He's like, 45. He goes, okay, they're not nukes. He goes, I thought they were nukes. And I was like, what were you doing? He goes, I was counting. I was like, okay. So we're watching this thing for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And I'm taking tons of pictures, man. I was the only one who had my phone. It was in my pocket. I didn't even realize it. Mike Sue can't get the camera to work, either camera.
And it had just been working.
We were just shooting.
Yeah.
He only hit stop and pulled the camera and turned upwards with it, and it wouldn't do anything. Wouldn't do anything. So we're watching these lights blink, 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 and the two on the ends are blinking, and the ones in the middle aren't doing anything. And I counted 60 of these lights. And it wasn't until I was looking at the photos later that when you change the the resolution and the aperture and the contrast, that you see that it's not 60 single lights. It's one side of a giant thing that's shadowed, and they're going around like this, and these two lights blinking. That's just what it looks like on our side because the lights were actually blinking, like going around like this. I had no idea. I mean, I personally was like, that's a UFO, guys. Those are UFOs. And everyone's like, it's Starlink. To this day, it was not Starlink. It was a giant single UFO over the mountain. And I had pictures to prove it. And it was the most amazing thing to ever happen to me with a UFO.
That is wild. And for anyone who's been on a set, you were busy. You got to get things done. So the fact that this shut down the entire set
for like 15 minutes.
It had
in the middle of a fight scene.
Incredibly impressive. Just like, okay, no, we are stopping.
Everyone stopped. Everybody, all the actors, because it was me. Because behind me were the four our lead females, and then Jeremy and myself, and all the like Sarah French, who played the Air Witch, and Katarina, I can't remember her last name. She played the Earth Witch, and then the Fire Witch was there, and then Renee Da, who was the Water Witch. They're all in costume, man. Those are full costumes, and we're all just looking at this thing. And I was like, I said, well, at least I'm in battle gear. I said, Alien Land, I'm in battle gear. And Jeremy's like, that's a fake act. I said, I could get one good swing out of it, buddy. Don't worry. And so...
what was the line from Signs? Swing away.
Right. So, dude, it was amazing. It wasn't until later on when I was on a UFO podcast, because I told a buddy of mine about the story, and he knew some guys on a UFO podcast, that a white owl is directly related to a UFO visitation or to see a UFO. If you see a white owl, they're connected somehow. And the fact that we were led down this river all day
by this owl,
then that night we saw this UFO.
That's wild, man.
Yeah,
I heard a lot of stories about Sorority of Damned, but that is the first. Dude,
so that's cool. That's the craziest thing that ever happened to me, I think. Well, I got another story I can't talk about yet, but
we'll have you back on for another episode.
So, anyways, sorry. Back to sorority. I feel like we lost track completely.
Okay. We're gonna bring this in for a landing here in a
Yeah,
second.
nice.
So,
Nice.
the movie's out literally now. This is Halloween. This is the perfect time to go see this film.
Yes.
Probably not with small children. You probably want to be a little
No,
more.
it's not
more
child
adult.
friendly.
This is not child friendly.
PG-13.
Depends on the parent.
Right. PG-16.
Let's say
for sure.
MA. Whoever it goes.
NC-17?
No, it's not that bad.
No.
But definitely a great.
Blood, boobs, and folks.
There you go.
Blood, boobs, and
The 3 Bs.
yeah.
What more can you
The
want
only
in a horror
Bs you
movie?
need.
Where can they find this,
the
Joe? Where
bee's
can they
knees.
stream this right now?
Well, it's on Tubi right now. It will be on Amazon probably next week. It's headed to Amazon Prime. So it's there. It's on another streaming channel, but you can see it on Tubi. Go check it out. It's certainly worth your time. It's a fun movie.
And whether it's a 1-star or a 10-star review, if you do watch it, leave a comment.
Yeah, please. Yeah, I'd love to hear
Joe
your
enjoys
thoughts.
them.
I love reading them. Yeah, I love being a fat actor. I've said it for years. I'm a factor. Yeah.
You should put that on your IMDb page.
Factor. Professional factor.
I love that.
And I'm not even like, dude, I do a lot of stunts in that movie,
Yeah.
man. I fight.
You do.
I
You
roll
trained
around.
really hard
Yeah.
for that.
And these guys are like, he's just a fat janitor. I will beat your ass into the ground, bro. I can box for real. I'll knock you the F out.
No, I remember you sending me photos of you in the gym and doing everything to get ready for this
Yeah.
role. So, no, he is not fat. He's big boned. There's a
Dude.
difference.
I can curl 70 pounds. What can you do?
You also have a ton
Lift
of
the
other
burrito.
movies.
With the burrito, you fat reviewer. Don't be jealous.
Do you want to plug any more of your film?
I'm like, what's his name? Walter Hauser, what that dude's name is.
He's blowing up right now.
Yeah, the hell with him, too. The hell with you, buddy. Oh, what? You were Corella, and now all of a sudden you're in every Marvel movie?
Oh, man.
I love you.
What other movies do you want to plug?
Oh, man. I like Superman. No, I did see that. I thought it was great.
I did too. It was
I
a
thought
joy.
fantastic,
It was a joy.
actually, yeah. And Fantastic Four. I thought they both were great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't care what anybody's saying. I love Pedro Pascal. He's
I can't get enough of him.
He's a national treasure.
I agree.
don't know why people are like, you're gonna end up like Pedro Pascal.
They were saying the same thing about Walter Goggins. And, no,
Yeah.
give me all the Goggins.
Yeah,
and,
give me Goggins and Pascal.
Yeah, we'll put them
those
together, in
both in
fact.
a movie with Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
I'll direct it. I'm here for free.
We'll write that right after we wrap up here.
Yeah.
No, I meant what other movies of yours,
Oh.
sir, would you like to push? Because you've got a bunch out there.
I mean, I have other movies on Amazon and stuff. We have As Night Falls,
Yep.
which was shot here locally in Lutz, and that was shot in 2010.
Yep.
That's another fun.
Yep.
That's a little adventure. It's a little. What's the word I'm looking for?
Superfluous?
Yeah, it's a superfluous film. No, a little. We try to do a lot with a little.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we only had like $150,000 or something, and we tried to pull off $1 million movie.
It's a fun
in
romp.
2010.
And there is a scene in a van. I won't spoil it, but it is like right out of Walking Dead. I mean, it has that Sam Raimi style camera. It's a joy to watch.
Yeah, I watch that sometimes, and I'm like, man, I should have done this a little differently. I should have done that a little differently. So yeah, that's out.
We mentioned 100 Tears, so go
100
out
Tears
and track down 100
You
Tears.
can also see 100 Tears. You can see As Night Falls.
And then watch Terrifier and tell me it's not a direct rip
Yeah,
of
right.
100 Tears.
Yeah, watch them both. Yeah.
But also for those who would like to read more about what you do.
I could say The Bellkeeper because
could.
they still gave me the writing credit.
Yeah. So
but thank God they put Chaz Bono in it. I don't know what would have happened without.
Someday I truly will have you back to talk about Hank
It's like
and just
Zoolander.
all the crazy stuff that happened in it.
I love that scene in Zoolander with Benedict Cumberbatch where he plays. What's his character's name?
I know exactly what you're talking about. So
He
good.
says Herm. Herm is not happy.
All right,
Sorry.
we got to wrap this up, man.
Yeah.
Your books too. So let's
man.
let's talk about Adventure League real quick. Where can people find
that's
your
not
books?
the title.
I'm sorry, Adventure Man.
No. I can't even. I'm out of here.
Adventure Club. Sorry.
Oh, all right. So yeah,
Bit of my
Adventure
job.
League. I'm well loved here, folks. Okay, so the first series is Mike Strong for Hire, which is a supernatural crime thriller set in the 1950s, which is doing very well. It's got it's got over 10 reviews on Amazon. That's not my life. 10 reviews. I'm like, that's it. I've made achieved my goals. I can die peacefully now. That's a really great series, and it follows a detective in the 1950s who's an immortal who, has to fight vampires and werewolves and no zombies yet, but maybe mainly witches and vampires and angels and demons are his. And goons and gangsters and everything in between he has to fight.
Not to reduce it, but it's like Constantine meets Supernatural.
It is. One dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, two. Mike Strong and Becky Dieter.
But it has a great riff on the noir tropes. And it's really stylized. It's really good.
It is my dream project to turn into a series at Netflix? Whoever's listening. Amazon? Hulu? Disney? I don't know who owns what anymore. Fox. Somebody.
Movie.
Yeah, Murdoch. Just come buy it. So Mike Strong is a great series. And then I have I know I've written 40 horror films, and now I got a book about a detective having sex with vampires. But I also wrote a kids series.
Adventure
Let that sink in.
Club
Don't
gang.
even talk about it. Team Adventure Club.
Thank you.
There's 2 books out right now. You can go find them. First one's called Cold Front, where they have to battle aliens who try to freeze Earth. And then Captain Cutthroat's Revenge, book 2, Captain Cutthroat's Revenge, where they find a pirate ship in a dormant volcano that still has a 200-year-old pirate on it.
And these are kid-friendly. In fact, they're written for kids.
They're written for kids because I have children, and my kids can't watch all my movies, and they can't read, so I don't know why I write them. Right. And so he's trying to get me out of here. He's like, okay, and they're like talking back and forth.
Our engineer's like, we're running out of card. Okay, so last thing, Joe.
Yes.
Throw out your social tags. Where can people follow you?
OnlyFans, Foot Friendly Freddy. No. Joe Davison or Joey Giggle Pants, which is most of my handles, Instagram, Twitter. I'm not sure what it is on Facebook. I think it's just Joe Davison. I think it's Joey Giggle Pants. Or my website, redgearstudios.com, which has not been updated in like 3 months. I'll do that today. Yeah, so that's all it, right. Really. Yeah.
Well, we do have to wrap it up now, but
Four Horsemen Publications. I'm on there. My books are on there. Amazon. I got movies on there. Amazon.com, Amazon Prime, Tubi, Netflix. I'm on Stranger Things.
You are? We didn't even talk about
Stranger Things. We didn't talk about Stranger Things.
It's okay. Well, with that,
I'm on it.
We have to wrap up, man. Happy Halloween. Thanks for coming out, my friend. We're going to do a high five this time for real.
I love this, man.
I appreciate you, sir. And I think my audience is going to enjoy this podcast.
Yeah, and if you're in film in Tampa, talk to Tyler.
Thank you.
He's the dude.
I appreciate it. And we'll have you back on when Pinball's coming
Yeah, I hope so. For sure soon.
Because that's shot here locally as well.
It is. It is.
Right. Well, we got to wrap it up there. So we'll be right back, everybody. Thanks, Joe. We'll see you guys in a second. Welcome back to our spooky podcast. I feel like an idiot with this thing over my head, but I don't know if I can get out. There we go.
Here you go.
Now it's a dress. Well, welcome back, everybody. That was a wild madcap interview that went in a bunch of different directions. As I mentioned at the head, Joe kind of just, you spin him up and he does what he's going to do. But
never boring, that's
some
for
truly
sure.
funny moments. I was trying not to spit out my coffee, laughing so hard when he kept dropping Wu-Tang references. It was just so good.
This is the Wu-Tang episode.
It's for the children, folks. It's for the children. So let's talk a little bit about this. One, we have all seen Sorority of Damned. We got to go to the premiere. I think it's fair to say that it is a fun B-romp, and I think Joe alluded to it himself. You got to go in the right expectations, and it is a great fun time.
Yeah, it's funny because when I was watching it, I didn't clock the whole Ash thing, but then after when he said that, I was like, oh my God, you're right. He does kind of have an Ash-like personality in that movie in a way that I thought was really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, where it's like he can be kind of like cheeky and sardonic, but he still works well with the other characters.
100%. He doesn't overshadow them. I think that's why it's a really great ensemble cast. But there's definitely, if you've watched Evil Dead, if you've watched really any of Sam Raimi's movies, like you can see the influence on Joe's career. And he truly loves this genre. And I think it comes out in the movies.
Yeah, horror comedy is my favorite genre too. So like you can tell when a filmmaker loves that genre, because they get the beats just right. Because, you know, horror and comedy have like so much similar when it comes to timing, and I thought it was really fun.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Yeah, we talked about that in the past with a podcast guest who was in Walking Dead, Caitlin Akon,
Yes,
and then going
exactly.
into comedy with Jim Gaffigan with Linoleum.
Yeah.
I thought the coolest part of Sorority of the Damned was the lore behind it. The COVID and the going to LA and having all these huge people in it because it's a great script, it's a great movie, but there also wasn't anything going on, so he almost had his pick of the litter.
He did, and it was one of those things where, not to bring up COVID, but like there was not a lot going on. It was kind of a bleak time, and there were a few productions that were kind of sneaking by being very, COVID conscious, I think was the word we were using at the time, or they were shooting in studios, they were kind of sequestered, but not a lot of people were working. So it was just kind of one of those moments where a budget came together at a high level that he'd never had before, and he had the pick of the litter as far as great crew and cast that were in LA at the time that just really had nothing else going on, and it came together into this fun, really magical film. And I loved it.
Yeah, and the sets were really contained too. When you think about the sorority house, you have all those characters, and then it's got that wide open space. Oh, the story that he told about the windstorm. That was so interesting. Like, I wonder how different that would have been if it hadn't been COVID and it had been in the studio.
It was one of those things where there's chaos that's going to break out on any set. It always does. But not a whole lot of people sit there and watch their first. Joe's made a lot of big movies, but it's like first big budgeted film, and he has this great elaborate set and just have it torn apart and thrown up into the air by a windstorm. Like, that's got to be crushing at some point.
It's very Don Quixote.
It is, tilting at windmills throughout. Bertie, you weren't here for his story about the aliens, but
tell me about it. That sounds great.
I've talked to Joe many times. This is the first time I've heard this story. Even though he did send me a link for the Alien podcast, I probably should have listened to it. That's my bad.
He
but
buried the lead immensely.
He did. Like, he's telling the story about the windstorm. I was like, and then there was aliens. I was like, what? What do you mean there's aliens? Let's explore this. Have you ever seen any aliens? Anything paranormal?
Have I?
Yeah.
I don't think so, no. I know it's a boring answer, but I don't think I have. I think I've heard ghosts at Tampa Theater, and I think Cuban Club too, but I know ghosts and aliens are different.
I got a really stellar ghost photo.
You did. I was telling Michael Martz about it last night.
Yeah. And you can't tell me it's not a ghost in my photo.
It absolutely. We were alone in that room.
We were. It was creepy as hell.
Yeah.
But anyway, going back to Sorority of the Damned, I thought the costumes and effects were really fun and really great. Was there like a scene in that movie where like, that was a really cool way he did that?
Definitely the graveyard scene. I was actually really impressed and surprised by the quality of the witches' costumes when they came out of all their coffins, and it was very coordinated, where they had all the different fire and earth and water and wind. It did a really, really good job, and I like how each themed witch really just nailed it in the costuming.
No, it looked really good. It was very impressive, and you could tell that real professionals were doing this. It wasn't costume store makeup. It was done at the highest level. Was there another takeaway, Bertie, from the lengthy conversation that went in all kinds of different directions?
Joe Davison, I think, is one of those people who, once you start asking him questions and you get to know him a little bit, he drops gems, right? How is he connected to the Elfman family? You would never know. So I think he's one of those people that is so valuable, because you start talking to him and you're like, I need this, I want to do this, this is what I want the movie to look like. He'll just drop in a gem of like, I can do that, I know someone who can do that, I've done that before, so I have experience.
Yeah.
That was my biggest takeaway, is that once you start to get to know Joe, you see what a value he is.
We were trying to keep it light in our conversation because, I mentioned it, like the universe seems to try to collude against him constantly to stop him from making movies, and somehow he just fights back and wins. But some horrible things have happened on his sets, whether it was producers stealing the money for the shoot and jumping off and running out into the night, or showing up to your main location and there is a massive flood that destroys location, or building a set and all of a sudden I think it was Girl Scouts show up on a bus and they're like, you built your set in the middle of our campground, you can't be here. Just all kinds of crazy things have happened to him over the years. And then, he was so excited. Oh, Sorority of Damned's being made. And it's like, pandemic. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like,
that is crazy.
Is the universe trying to tell you something here, Joe? And
everybody loves an underdog.
And every time he just says, nope, I can get through this. I'm going to make it mine. I'm going to figure this out. And he does.
Says, eat me.
Yeah.
COVID was like the pinnacle too. What worse thing could happen?
I mean, let's knock on wood just for Joe's sake, because things tend to happen. But he's a genuine filmmaker. He's someone who cares about the craft, wants to make fun movies that not only he wants to see made, but he gathers a cast and crew together that, you want to make films with your friends. You want to make films with people who are passionate about what you're making. Yeah. And he always seems to do that. And I think that's why even at the lower budget range that his movies kind of tend to go into sometimes, the quality is there because people are caring about what they're making.
Yeah. Shows it doesn't matter about the budget so much. It matters about the people.
Yeah.
Which is something our area sees a lot, right? We have a lot of indie films that are spectacular. And they all have very small budgets compared to what you'd see on other markets.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we had a very long conversation, so we will wrap this up pretty quick. Any final takeaways from the conversation with Joe?
No, I think we covered it. Do we want to end this episode maybe with what our favorite spooky picks are this year?
Yeah. Was there a particular spooky movie? Doesn't have to be from this year, but one that you like to put on for Halloween?
Oh, every year. I always enjoy, and I know it's very kind of lame, The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. But if you don't want to watch that, my pick for Halloween movies in Tampa is Night of the Living Dead at the Beach Theater on the 23rd of October.
Very cool.
Awesome. Yeah. Psycho is my favorite movie of all time, and that's also playing. But I would say that my spooky movie for this year is Weapons. I really liked it.
It's a really great film. Mm-hmm. And it kind of goes off the rails in the third act that I really enjoy. So if you haven't seen Weapon, go watch it.
Go watch it. You'll like it.
And mine, actually, we just screened last night, as I alluded to with our beautiful costume here. It was The Others. I think it is one of those films that people kind of remember, but it was overshadowed by The Sixth Sense to a degree where it just got buried. Gothic horror, Nicole Kidman, great twist ending, a lot of clues along the way if you've watched it a couple times, but it's just so atmospheric. It just feels creepy and wonderful for this time of year. So
I loved that movie, and I'm glad Second Screen picked it because I was just like, yes.
Yeah.
Well, some Halloween movie plugs for Tampa. The Wild Man Skunk Ape, made by Ryan Justice. Beast Comes at Midnight. That's a good one. Tampa made. Lady of the Manor, Judy Greer, Melanie Linsky, kind of ghosty. Sorority of the Damned, House of Blood, John Rusnick. We have a whole bunch. So if you go to our website,
there's Brothers.
Ghost Bros. They did an episode of Tampa Theater.
You can see me telling a ghost story at Tampa Theater if you watch the Ghost Bros. It's on Discovery Plus, streaming right now.
Yeah.
And HBO Max.
Yeah.
Well, close it out.
Yeah, with that, where can they learn more about us?
We are Loose Framing Podcast. You can stream us anywhere you stream podcasts. You can watch us on YouTube and follow us on social media at Film Tampa Bay across the board.
And with that, glad you tuned in, guys, and have a spooky Halloween. We'll see you next time.